A very good Sunday evening to everybody. Thanks for clicking on to the weekend tropical outlook, and we do have a still major Hurricane Erin. We don't have the Cat 5 160 mile per hour system that we did yesterday, all courtesy of a couple of IWOL replacement cycles. It looks as if we're undergoing one at the moment here. Once the new eye forms and clears out, we will probably see a slight uptick in intensity once again. But this was a tweet here, capturing the peak of Erin yesterday, and you can see here a beautiful up close. You can actually see the spiral bands and rotation, even the blow up of stronger convection around the eye wall itself. You can see that that kind of slight reflections there of how powerful the eye wall is within Hurricane Erin. Another interesting video here I want to show of the Hurricane Hunters. This is courtesy of Shea Gibson on Twitter, showing the Hurricane Hunters flying into the eye of Cat 5 Erin during the course of yesterday, showing the stadium effect and pretty incredible stuff here. Let's have a quick look at this video. I believe the eye itself was actually only about 5 miles in diameter, but there was a new eye wall already beginning to form on the outer edge of the existing eye. And what happens is basically the new eye chokes off the old one, and that is how you get an eye wall replacement cycle. So let's have a quick look then at the latest visible satellite imagery here of Hurricane Erin. You can see here that we've got the continuation of strong convection continuously erupting around the center of the system itself here. Still a lot of symmetry with this system, showing that the environment remains fairly conducive for maintaining this very powerful system. Looking at the latest information of NHC, we've got the 125 mile per hour hurricane, pressure at 946 millibars, and it's moving in a west-northwest direction at 13 miles per hour. If we click onto this, you can see here this is the latest track expected by NHC. You can see here this northward turn and then a hard right turn over the Atlantic, and it's all thanks to a trough that is crossing and exiting eastern Canada that is going to force this system to take that kind of hard right turn between Bermuda, staying well to the west of Bermuda, and thankfully well to the east of Cape Hatteras. But we will see fringe effects anywhere from the Puerto Rico, we've seen that already, Hispaniola, possibly even Cuba, through the Bahamas as well. Let's not forget the Bahamas. And then both Bermuda as well as the east coast of the United States. Let's have a very quick look then at the latest discussion from NHC. This is as of 11 Eastern time here this morning. Erin's eye is no longer evident on satellite imagery, and observations from the Air Force Hurricane Hunters indicate that the maximum winds are around 110 knots. Central pressure has risen a bit this morning. This slight decrease in intensity is probably due to an eye wall replacement cycle in the inner core, as reported by Hurricane Hunters, and this is likely to be temporary, short-term fluctuation. The system remains a well-organised and dangerous major hurricane with an impressive symmetry and cloud pattern. Upper level flow is strong over all quadrants of the system. Based on fixes from the aircraft, SAM-1 radar and satellite images, the hurricane appears to be moving in a west-northwest direction. So the track forecast philosophy is about the same as in the previous advisories. Over the next couple of days, Erin is expected to turn northwards and move between two cells of mid-tropospheric subtropical high pressure. Track guidance is in good agreement with the northward turn, but there are differences in how close the hurricane will make to the United States East Coast in the next 72 hours. The new official forecast has shifted a little to the west in the 3 to 4 day time period. Some additional adjustments to the forecast is possible in the future updates. Erin should remain over very warm waters with moderate vertical wind shear and in a moist low to mid-level environment through the next 48 to 72 hours. Therefore, some renewed increase in strength is expected within the next couple of days. Once the IWOL, of course, regenerates yet again. I think this is the second IWOL replacement cycle. Erin size will grow, and that trend is expected to continue over the next few days. Expanding wind field will result in rough surf conditions over much of the Western Atlantic. It should be noted that 34 to 50 knot wind speed probabilities beyond 36 hours in text and graphical products are likely underestimating the risk of those winds occurring. So yes, this system is going to track north and northeastwards. You can see here that the intensity of the models suggest that there is a bit of a split. If you notice here in this graphic, some models suggest it goes. It actually weakens. Some have it staying at a steady, strong Cat 3, and there is a reasonable amount of models actually suggesting it goes back to a Cat 4. Now you notice here the UK X2 model here indicates that it goes to a Cat 5 hurricane. Now obviously water temperatures are going to increase as the system tracks northwestwards here. It's going to cross over the Gulf Stream as well. That may have an influence, and it depends on the atmospheric state whether we see any significant increase in strength. But you can see here the general emphasis on the track being a northward turn and then northeasterly turn over the next 4 to 5 days or so. Looking at wave heights, the wave heights are supposed to be very significant indeed, especially on that northeastern quadrant of the system itself. We could have waves easily in excess of 50, 60 feet. There has been some model indications showing a 99-foot swell out there, and obviously this is going to have significant impacts on cruise routes, etc., going from the Caribbean to New York and points along the east coast of the US. So certainly that is something to watch. Looking at the latest ECMWF, this is a cyclonic vorticity within the atmosphere, and you can see we've got generally quite a stretched out, elongated subtropical ridge. The system is going to continue to track. It's generally been tracking in a westerly mode, but we are seeing this trough showing up, exiting Hudson Bay, moving across Quebec. And what that's going to do is it's generating a bit of a weakness here to the north of the system, hence why it's making a turn more to a west-northwest as opposed to due west track. So as this trough then moves across eastern portions of Canada out into the Atlantic, that is what's creating that weakness to the north and allowing this turn to take place. And it's also allowing heights to build over the central portion of the United States as well. So that eastward track and trough allowing pressure to build over North America, and therefore it's creating this open door for this system to then take that north to northeasterly track and turn, and then we're going to start to see stronger winds to the north of this, forcing the right hand turn. But you can see here off the ECMWF, it's getting very, very close to the Carolinas here, so we are definitely going to see heavy rain, strong gusty winds, and pound and surf. Rip currents, for example, is going to be an issue as well. And as we continue to play through this here, as this system then exits into the North Atlantic, we've got two features to watch. If we go back to the NHC page here, you can see that there is a couple of watch points here. We've got one system here well to the east of the US, and we've also got a watch area here just to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands at a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days or so here. Looking at the radar imagery here, just bear with a second. Satellite imagery. I want to look at the broader Atlantic view in terms of what's going on out there. Let's have a look at the Atlantic view. And you can see here, this is the area highlighted by NHC. So there's obviously Erin here. We've got another circulation here over the open North Atlantic. And we've got this strong convection exiting the African coastline. We've seen flooding, flash flooding at that in the Dakar region of Senegal. But this feature has then now moved across Africa out into the open Atlantic. Obviously, water temperatures are relatively cool in the eastern tropical Atlantic. We've also got a somewhat more moist environment here, thanks to Erin as it's continued to track westwards here. It's kind of moistened the environment out ahead of it, and therefore we need to watch this feature as it gets further west here. It starts to enter warmer waters, and potentially the environment becomes conducive. We will watch going forward to see if this tries to develop here. But you can see that the NHC has this small 10% chance off the North Carolina coast, and we've got a 20% chance just to the west of Cape Verde for any sort of development to take place. Looking back at the models then, as we play right the way out to the end of the period here, which is Saturday the 23rd of August, which is next weekend, we do have a little bit of spin within the MDR. We've got this feature here passing very close, very similar area to where Erin has passed over the past 24, 36 hours or so here, north of leewards, northeast of Puerto Rico. We'll watch and see what happens with regards to the overall environment as that system moves eastwards. So yes, not really necessarily any imminent threat at the moment here. This is a look at the global tropics. So obviously we've got Erin in the Atlantic. We've got 3 invest areas over the West Pacific. And we did have the landfall of Podul in back last Wednesday in Taiwan. Caused a bit of a headache for flights coming in. This was an interesting one here of a Boeing 747. This is a freighter that came into land in Taipei, engaged, encountered strong winds, and therefore the engine struck the runway. Check this out here. So you can see there the flames there as the engine connects with the runway. Another interesting video here of a flight trying to come in. Made a pretty good attempt at it, as I said. Turn the volume down. Made a pretty good go of it, I must admit. That would have been a little bit on the scary side, I would imagine. But these are the strong winds that affected Taipei and the surrounding areas of Taiwan back during the middle portions of last week as that system made a landfall. So that is it, I think, for today. Not a huge amount else to speak about. Let me just see here if there's a couple of interesting visible satellite imageries showing up. This is from Bill Line of an up-close view of Hurricane Erin as it peaked out in intensity as a Cat 5 160 mile per hour system. And then there was the flooding. So these are the African waves that ride the easterly African jet. Basically, these tropical systems develop over the Ethiopian highlands, then pull westwards here aboard that easterly jet stream. And obviously, when you get this convection blowing up, you then have significant flooding. Check this out. This was in Dakar in the Senegal capital back a few days ago. So it just goes to show you these tropical waves, even before exiting Africa, can have significant impacts underneath. So yes, that is it for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow with the European Outlook. Bye for now.